episode of the Evan.
Um. So, do you want to repeat that? Anyway, so it's yet another Saturday morning, and as usual, it's always good to come your way. It's always a nice feeling to come to your phones and your tablet, your whatever device you're using. As usual, please go out there, share the feed. Let's get going. And again, just a reminder, you don't get to pay anything for sharing, right? So it's just your way of saying you love what we're doing and you wish we continue to do it. Otherwise, we'll go on retirement. Oh, we see what you think. Okay, so today is warmer by way of weather update. Today is warmer, a bit warmer, maybe in the 40s.
Degree Celsius.
No, Fahrenheit. 40 Fahrenheit. So that's
I can't
of
do
course
the
lower
calculations.
lower in degrees Celsius. And as usual, when you join the feed, shoot a hello,
It's
shoot a
9
hi.
degrees Celsius.
Yeah, right. So it's 9 degrees Celsius. But yeah, that's warm. I mean, as compared to what we've experienced in the past few days. So when you join us, shoot a hello, shoot a hi, so we know you are there, you are with us, and then we can draw you into the conversation. Okay, so Prissy. Okay, so an update on the basement project. So we were expecting or we were hoping that we'll finish up by now, but she's laughing. Yeah, but it's not yet finished. It's not yet finished, but great progress. It's awesome. I mean, you should see it now. It has the walls looking all nice and all interesting. Yeah. And did you help? Yeah, maybe.
Are you asking me
Yeah, maybe she
if
helped.
I help?
So yeah. Anyway, so let's go to our usual. Prissy is gonna introduce the topic for today. He Yeah, let's go.
Don't put. I don't like you putting me on the spot.
Oh,
So,
okay.
a topic for today.
Prissy should have thought of this
Can
topic
we
longer, but I
talk
don't know
about?
why she's not
As
thought
if
of
you always think about your
it.
topics before you come.
She should have.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
so, um, what topic can I talk about?
Oh, so maybe we'll leave it open. Right?
Honestly, I don't have anything.
Okay, yeah. So today would be an
We'll talk
open day,
a
free
bit
day,
about everything
a bit out about everything.
and I talk about nothing.
Yeah, right. So we'll end
A
up
bit of
talking about
everything and nothing.
like what? Okay, so let me push this in. When people get married, especially, all of a sudden they start growing like huge. And I'm talking about the guys especially, right? You see a very lanky guy gets married, then all of a sudden the person gains weight. That's what I mean by they grow huge. Most people, unless the person genetically is programmed not to add on weight, right? But usually people get married and all of a sudden they gain weight. Now, more often than not, the wives or the women think that it's their responsibility to make the man look good, right? You might say it is, but to make the man look like what was the expression? It should look good, yeah. Like you say, oh, your wife is taking care of you, or your
Add on some inflation.
yeah, I don't flesh and all.
It's just
Mhm.
the mindset of a certain. So maybe it's more of an African thing.
Yes. We to speaking of the African context, right? So you would see that most men will now start developing pot bellies, blah blah blah. Maybe sometimes it could be due to beer or anything, but more often than not, people will start.
But I don't think it's
Do
all.
you think, say like, oh, most times it's food.
Oh, really?
Yes, most times it's food. Apart from all other lifestyle, blah blah blah. But most times it's food. Now, what I tend to be conscious about is, or most times people are not conscious of the fact that I'm just repeating myself, but after you get married and you eat it, like, again, because the wives have this nurturing thing in their head, oh, let me take care of him, you end up sometimes overeating, right? Because your wife will, in a bid to try to get you well fed, and for some reason I hate that term. Like, a wife will say, let me feed you. Feed you means what? Like,
No, it is. I'm going to make food for you.
no, I've heard the feeding term. Even you use it sometimes.
I don't use it.
Yes, I'm going to feed.
I don't remember ever.
Feed you sounds. It sounds. I mean, to me, it sounds.
Remember using
Oh, I remember. I really remember. Okay.
you are trying.
Now, in a bid, if it seems you are feeling sleepy, in a bid to feed people, they end up becoming overweight.
Like babies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you keep giving. uh, All I want to point to is that there are health implications as well, especially when people get married and all of a sudden they become so busy and cannot exercise, they can't be active, and so on and so forth. Don't, in a bid to look well fed or well nourished or well favored, lose it, right? Because think about it. Most people, again, their activity levels drop substantially when they now have a lot of responsibilities and all. Like, people who used to maybe go play football or go play some active sports, all of a sudden cannot
Don't you
do
think
that.
it's actually the expectation of the men that makes them man? Because there are
Okay.
some people who feel like
Mm-hmm.
in a typical home,
Mm-hmm.
you see that they are seven and maybe your dad has the most meat and they give very tiny to
To
the
the kids.
kids. Yes.
Yes.
So growing
Yes.
up, you're also looking up to getting to that point where you
I
get everything
yeah.
like in excess
Yeah.
and all that.
I agree.
And so I know some men, if
Mm-hmm.
you give them a balanced diet, they'll get angry. You're like, are you feeding a mouse or something? So
Yeah.
they want to eat like what they've seen growing up. So and maybe their parents were farmers and they would probably eat and go and farm. But
Yes, yes, yes. But for them,
yeah,
there are
and
certain
you would
preferences.
not understand because they've seen it as a culture growing up.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
cannot put it all the blame on the women. The
No,
men need to
but
participate in it.
yes.
And if I give you food and you feel that it's too much for you, eat what you can and leave the rest.
No, but that constitutes waste.
No, if you eat what and like the woman sees that okay, I eat less, then there's no point bringing you more food the next time.
If So I have had interactions with some people, and it seems that they are all of the mindset that if you are giving food, you have to eat everything.
And
Right?
you can tell your
To
spouse that
to communicate to your wife that,
food
okay,
is too
your food
much.
was good.
No, but
So you have to eat everything. If you don't eat, it's like, oh, the food wasn't good.
if you tell them the food is too much, next time they'll feed you less.
No, but apart from that, because sometimes you are not eating because like you necessarily can consume all that, but it's because the food has been brought
And
before
there's
you.
actually the maker, yeah. There is some
The men can
but fun, seriously, food makes people grow fat. We had a friend who can eat like how many balls of cake? That
Yeah,
guy, I don't want to mention.
yes, again,
And he looks
that's why
flat tummy and everything.
correct. That's why I refer to genetics, right? Hey, Jackson, good to have you. That's
The
why
people that you assume eat a lot, sometimes do not eat a lot. It's actually the sleep
No, but
sleep wise.
that's why I refer to genetics, right? There are people who can easily eat all the food in the world and then cause other people to face famine, but they will still not grow big, right? But think about it. And we also have this thing of eating a lot of like oily foods and
I
stuff
think it
and
is
huge
carbohydrate.
carbohydrates portions.
It's
Yeah,
just
so
West Africans eat the chunk of our meal is carbohydrates.
correct.
And we don't eat a lot of, maybe before we're eating a lot of vegetables when they were farmers.
Before,
When they were farmers,
when was that? Which year was that?
when they were going to the farm, probably they were getting
No,
fresh
they were
vegetables.
rather eating all the carbohydrates to have energy to
But
work on the farms.
the chunk of our meal is, so we, surprisingly, when we are learning vocational skills and catering, we are told the main meal is the stew or whatever.
Yeah, is the protein.
But
Yeah,
like it's the other way around for us, because we eat a lot of the carbohydrates. So it's like as in you're eating fufu
yeah,
soup, or the banku with the soup. Then the banku tends to be the main meal. Then you add a little sauce
yeah.
and some meat. And so like we have to eat very small, but people eat 3 balls, 4 balls.
But I thought that was why that was incorporated in the educational system.
Yeah, we learn it to pass.
Okay. So Jackson says Anansi in Mata come inside. Oh, I think
No, 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 that was it. No.
Oh god. Yeah, so yeah, but Kwekwanansi himself, the character Kwekwanansi himself
Yeah.
also eat a lot. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what Jackson was referring to, right? But sometimes I think that all these were incorporated in syllabus or whatever, so that you learn and then
we don't
improve. Because
practicalize it
yeah,
of the
because
time.
most times I really feel like some of these diseases that people encounter like late in their lives, okay, majority of them are diet related, and not just because they are diet related, but it's people don't get to even bend them if they should, because you can have someone who takes a lot of carbohydrate, but because of what they do,
And then we
they are able to
also
bend
don't
them.
have the culture of exercising.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct. Yeah.
because here the exercises. Yeah, I remember we used to do PE, but it wasn't really like
It was
something
just to
that
check the box, right?
you do from home.
Yeah.
But yeah, people invest a lot in things that will make
Yeah.
their kids exercise. So you see that kids have a sports they do after school. So
Mhm.
there are some that do one sport, some do 2 sports.
Yeah.
So just to keep them active.
No, and even the parents themselves really exercise.
Yeah,
Like
exercise, yeah.
it could be negative temperatures, and you would see
Yeah, but
chested
it starts
running.
it starts from childhood. So it's something they grow with.
Right.
Yeah, but for us, we don't really see the kids what exercise.
Oh
They are very
God.
tiny, so you don't grow with it. And so when you grow, it's difficult for you
Yeah.
to start doing. You see exercise as for people who are into sports. We don't see it as something that is um critical for everybody to do. We just leave it to a few people. Like for us, we feel that okay, then we see somebody running, and we assume that okay, this person is into sports or maybe a footballer or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that culture of
And
that
it's good you brought this up, because I think you remember how many years ago, this 2025, maybe 7 years ago, we visited a family friend in Norway, right? And there was this, what, was he
he was
67?
67 then.
He was
So
67 then. A 67-year-old Ghanaian, like advanced in age. And we were told, oh, he lectures at one of the universities. And so our family friend said that, oh, that's a friend and he'll be joining us. We were, of course, because the way the place was, we were expecting they would drive, because it's not like you see like a place you can easily walk, right? and the man came in with his
hiking.
hiking gear with his
Yeah, those sticks.
the poles, yeah. And he had and he was really, you could see he was really sweating and enjoying it. And he's a very, very active person. And it, it is the norm around the West. That's what I think. And how I've seen.
And I think that was it Barcelona we went to, or one of the countries, or it was Portugal. They had made the place such that you have to exercise. Like you don't have to necessarily go to the gym.
Yes. It's all across Europe, especially. I think I've seen that in Paris. I've seen that in like you're saying, Barcelona, but different places. So that was
Portugal, right?
Yes, I remember what you in Portugal. Yes, in Portugal. So you would just like a standard park, but you see a lot of metals.
You don't have to pay for membership. They made it such that
anywhere
anybody at home can just walk in there, just a park.
Right.
You just be exercising and be moving along.
So that brings us to what you said earlier. I think it's also a mindset thing, right? So think about it. I think in Africa, one of the most well-planned places I've been to is Abuja, right? So you have a few blocks and you have like a park where people can come, exercise, do stuff, right? Today, especially like in Ghana, no land is free. No land is just laying fallow. I mean, without and people will go like, what's this thing for? I remember places that we had as parks where we could go play growing up. All of them got sold before I even became an adult.
Yeah, that is one disparity between, so like even around where we live, everywhere I've been to in the US, there's a place where there's a park for people to relax, kids to play. But if I want to right now, I'm just thinking I wanting to take my kids to a park where we lived back in Ghana. It meant that I have to drive hours or even go to a different region before I can get a park for like of that sort of whatever for the kids to play. But I can just walk to any place. Like there's a park in every community.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you could send your kids to play.
Right.
And so you see people running around, and like again, here we have bicycle lanes.
Yeah.
So even riding bikes is something that you can opt for. Or but then I cannot see myself riding bicycle in Ghana, like in my community. Before I know it, I'll be in.
But it's also because you were not in a good community.
No, even the good communities don't have it. Because I think to see a bicycle lane there.
Not necessarily bicycle lane, but no one will knock you. But maybe
no one will knock you. Hopefully. You'll be fighting with the pedestrians and the motorists with over where to ride. So it doesn't make it conducive for you to even.
Yeah. I was having a chat with a colleague in the office who is from India just like 2 days ago or so. And he went to Bangalore. Bangalore is one heavy traffic area. Hey, good to have you, Michael. Good to have you, Mrs. Wilson. Michael says that not Ghana. Yeah, I mean, it's it's tough. And in Bangalore, I think he slowed down for someone to cross the road, and the person ended up abusing the one who gave like the pedestrian the chance to cross the road, because they expect you to move, then they will find their way around it, right? It is it is that mindset. And as Prissy was saying, it's not part of like strategy, right?
So we plan for it because we don't plan for all this exercise. We don't think it's necessary.
Exactly.
So we are planning
our lives and our schedules.
Not even the land. I don't know who are in charge of the planning. I don't know if it's the land economist or the whatever.
They are planners, yeah.
Yeah, so I think because of the way we even think, we've never thought of even incorporating all these things that would help us to
But
easily
but sometimes
maneuver
I think you need
around
to
us.
cut them some slack, or cut all those planners or leaders some slack, right? You need to solve bread and butter issues before, like I always say, before you can even think
Because
about
it
exercise.
will take a lot of pressure off even the health services.
Systems, yeah, correct.
Because
Yeah,
one, we are trying to prevent
yeah,
the disease in
yeah,
the first place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. I mean, it's one of those. So what it means is that if you find yourself in places where exercise is a thing, you could easily fall for the peer pressure, right? And then you would also start doing something, which is very good. That's positive. If you find yourself in a place where there is no accommodation for all that, you will need to do extra to actually be healthy, right? Back then, people used to walk a lot. To like, someone can walk from Mamprobi to Arena, or Mamprobi to like anywhere, like Agbuglochi or something, right? And so people were very active and they were very fit. Now, even to go from your bedroom to your bathroom, people want to drive, right? And so because of that, we need to put in extra effort, right? To have like some kind of active lifestyle.
I think that I also want to push in this thing. So you can also find yourself in all this exercise enabling environmental conducive environment and still not exercise.
Yeah.
Why? Because of maybe the way the sort of
mindset again.
I think mindset first, but maybe your way the way your schedule is. So like most people who have traveled to, we are going to seek for greener pastures. So you see, the aim is to do a lot of jobs. Some do 2-3 jobs, so they don't even
very good point.
Find time for themselves.
Yeah,
Even do anything that is they can. So you see, there's a lot of stress. They don't even. You see all this, you pass by it. You don't even experience it. So it applies to a lot of. I don't know if it's Africans, but Ghanaians. Yeah. So it's maybe from you move from your room, and most of the time, depending on where you are, if you are in a suburb, then you have to be driving most of the time. So you drive, you go to work, you close late, you come in, you do, and if you are doing 2 to 3 jobs, you won't even find time to go and use all those things. At the end of the day, before you know it, you have one disease or the other, like in your 40s or 50s. Yeah. So I think that's also that's a good one point. Of the.
So Jackson says Anansi will eat 10 balls of KK and still have flat tummy. I don't know if Jackson is referring to a common friend we have called Anansi, or the Kwikwanansi character, right? So Jackson, you can clarify. Okay, now Prissy, back to what you were saying, right? I think one mistake we do a lot as people who are immigrants or travel from our home countries to another country to live life is that we fail to live life in those places. And when I say live life in those places, I don't mean like blowing your money or doing anything that your parents would not be proud of. What I mean is that we fail to align our lives to the way life is in those places, right? So if you come to a place and people like wake up early in the morning, I mean, you would see whenever we go to the mountains, right? Because in this state we are surrounded by a lot of mountains, and so once in a while we go to the mountains to hike and one time to ski. When you go there, especially to hike, you will be surprised at the kind of people you see there. Very old people, and they look so active and healthy, and they are climbing mountains, and they keep going, and you ask yourself, how old am I as compared to those people, right? So they're so used to it. But typically, when you go to those hiking places like the mountains and all, you will hardly find our type there.
Yeah.
Like people who are, again, yes, we're trying to earn a living,
probably
we're trying
because
to.
of maybe where we find ourselves to. Maybe we don't have a lot of our type here, so we cannot.
Okay, yeah. So
can
if
blindly
not,
see.
if you, I agree, right? But generally, if it is, I am sure if it is a nightclub, and I might be, if it's a nightclub, you enter there, you would see a lot of,
We enjoy music now.
right. So, uh, see, in the same vein, when it comes to things like exercise and stuff, we should be able to see a lot of people hiking and all. But the truth is that hiking might not necessarily be our thing, right? It might not necessarily. We have very good mountains in Ghana, like all these
And by foot
Afaja,
of late, people
Afaja.
are like going that Ebri, people now walk that.
Correct,
and go
exactly.
around,
Yeah.
So people
And
are doing that.
right. So if you come to a place and you're trying to make life happen and all, it doesn't mean that
I
the
think
focus
we
is
can,
just
we can talk about this topic the next time, like
okay.
living your life
Living and cleaving when
you travel, because a lot of people
yeah
sometimes they travel and everything is about doing a property in Ghana, and so they don't live their lives here. And by the time they are around their retirement age, they have overworked their body, they haven't really invested in themselves. They have a property that probably when they even go to live in, like in the next 3 to 4 years, they might not even survive staying in Ghana. Yes, so
right.
maybe we can talk about that in our next episode.
Okay, so please note it down so that when I ask you this topic for the next episode, you remember. Yeah, right. So we have this thing of, yeah, I get it. There are bad stuff out here as well that you wouldn't want to be involved in, right? But then when you see the good, you will need to learn from it and then try to engage, because you would find people who would never like it. It's where they leave.
I have to beat myself before I'm able to do some things, because I feel like I can do exercise later.
Yeah.
I have, like, when I'm prioritizing my stuff, I prioritize the work first.
Yeah.
Exercise is like, maybe I feel that we should prioritize that exercise rather first. But then for me, I'm like, let me finish the work. If I have time, I'll exercise. So maybe the way we do our prioritization, that can also affect how we, because if I'm not done with my work, then it means that I'm not exercising today or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
the maybe changing our priorities, right?
Yeah,
could be helpful.
yeah,
Because for me, I like, most of the times I'm like, oh, I have this and this and this and that to do. Okay, when I finish, I'll go, or maybe I'll go for a walk when I'm done. But I never get done, and it means that workout might not come up.
Yeah, true. So coming back to the food part that we started with, right? Um, there are good things we can learn, especially because it's the ladies who are who are mostly involved in the kitchen, right? There are good things we can learn. Let your husband complain, but can we just give him leaves to chew? Give him leaves to chew. Don't mind him. He'll get used to it. Like try to try, try to apply all that we learn in school, right? At least the truth
People
is,
don't even eat the food here. They want the Ghana food.
exactly. Like you go when you visit a Ghanaian home or an African home here, no one will tell you it's an African. The moment you
open the door,
you open the door and enter, you'll be smelling prekese and money, and I mean, come on. You've eaten all that in don't leave it more, right? I mean, all I'm saying is there are, and there are healthy foods from Ghana as well. But I mean, to put things in context, right? So focus on those healthy ones, and then yeah, right. I mean, all that we learned when we were in primary school. Focus on that and forget about all the
And then if you want to eat healthy, I think sometimes to eat is expensive, so people rather want to
Yeah, so you
quite quantity.
yes, exactly. But that's why we also working, right? To you need your body to be healthy to keep
I think
working.
that's one thing we can also do is to maybe, you know, back in the days, we
Yeah.
used to have backyard gardens and
Yes.
grow most of our vegetables there.
Right.
It's not a thing now. I don't know why. If it's because now people have built.
Where would you get?
Yeah, even
that
when you
to?
well, most people have turned their backyard gardens into buildings for rent and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe we can also
Man
adapt.
must eat.
We can also adapt. I think I think when I went to one of this I've forgotten the name. I went at the A4 Sutherland Children's Park. They were people into agriculture.
Okay, yeah.
They had something like a barrel where
Yeah,
you can
you
grow
grow
things.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
it wouldn't take you much space.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can also go back to gardening. I know here they do gardening a lot, even though
Even the
season
weather, yeah,
is changed.
yeah.
As soon as summer it's about summer, everybody
Like from
goes,
spring, people start
and that
growing
could
stuff.
even last. I know in Michigan it was about 4 months summer.
Yeah.
And people will still grow 4 to 5 months. They'll still grow things and expect that it will grow for them to harvest
Yeah.
before the winter comes again. Yeah, so I think we have 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7 sunshine.
No, 12 hours.
12 hours of 24. Yeah, I've forgotten that at night there's no sunshine, but we have sunshine all the time.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we can have our gardens, even if you don't have a backyard garden, maybe you can learn those new technologies so that we can grow all this leafy stuff and all that. It would even help us save some money.
And food is not banku. Food is not fufu. Food is not like our idea about food is that you should have huge quantities of whatever for you to be satisfied, and then you can remove your shirt and then fan yourself. That's when you try food from different places, you realize that it's not even about the quantity to get satisfied. Sometimes you can have small of stuff
when
and
you
then
got a plate.
yeah, exactly.
It's really tiny, but
you get as there is calculation behind that.
You are satisfied. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they do some sort of magic, but
There is calculation.
Small portions, but
Yeah.
before you know it, you know, the last time we visited a friend, they were even laughing at our kids that they eat a lot, like in quantity.
Yeah.
When they observed like pizza,
Yeah.
American will take one slice of pizza and he's okay, but a Ghanaian.
Yeah, you have to eat a lot, and then you can't move your belly, and that's when you're eating. Thanks for joining us, Manita and Adam. So it looks like we've already run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of Dear Fan. Next week, God willing, we're gonna discuss your
Life.
how to, so it will be more about general life
Nice.
and living it. And so make a date with us next week. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll give you updates on how the basement project goes. I saw
get it done by
yeah, hopefully. I mean, when we feel like doing something. So what was I saying, Prissy? Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thanks, cheers, and bye for now.
Bye.
Hopefully we are taking off. If you are not taking off, then
I feel it fast.